Part 2 of the speaking paper of the C1 Advanced and B2 First Cambridge English exams is generally considered the most difficult part of the speaking paper and one of the most difficult parts of the whole exam. But I'm going to give you some tips now that will help you get the best score possible and feel a little bit more confident on the day of the exam. But first of all, you need to know what you have to do in this part of the exam. Well, this is called the long turn, and you'll need to talk on your own for a minute about some pictures that you'll be given. There'll be no interaction with your partner or the interlocutor. You just have to speak non-stop, if possible, for 1 minute. Now in the B2 First you'll get 2 pictures and 1 question, and in the C1 Advanced you'll get 3 pictures and 2 questions, and you'll have to choose 2 of the pictures to talk about. Now the first thing you'll have to do is to compare the pictures. And this is important because you'll never have to describe the pictures. So for example, with these pictures, you shouldn't simply say, in the first picture there are 2 doctors wearing blue tops and one of them is pointing at an X-ray. And in the second picture there are 2 architects talking about a plan for a building. The vocabulary is okay there, but you're not comparing, you're just describing. So I recommend you say something like, in both pictures we can see 2 people in professional settings talking about some information. In the first picture we can see what appears to be 2 doctors discussing an X-ray, whereas in the second picture it looks like it might be 2 architects talking about a plan for a building. So by saying in both pictures we can see, you're signaling to the examiner that you're going to talk about a similarity, and then by using whereas to link the 2 pictures, you're demonstrating that you've identified a difference. The second tip is to always use speculative vocabulary. We don't know exactly what's happening in the pictures, so we shouldn't be too certain. So to answer the question, why might the people be looking at these things, don't just say the doctors are looking at the X-ray to see if there is a fracture in the bone. No, you should speculate and say something like, the doctors must be looking at the X-ray to identify if there's a fracture in the bone. So must, like might, is a modal verb that we use for speculating. And the third tip is don't spend too much time on one particular aspect of the task. So don't spend too much time comparing, don't spend too much time on the first question, and don't spend too much time on the second question, because the reason this task is so difficult is that you only have 60 seconds to complete it. If you had 5 minutes, it would be easy, but you need to be able to manage your discourse in a way that you are able to complete the whole task. Now don't forget that when you finish your long turn, there will be a follow-up question for your partner that they should spend about 30 seconds answering, and of course then the roles reverse. It will be your partner's long turn, and then you'll have the follow-up question. If you found this video useful, then subscribe to my channel because you'll find lots of other really useful videos for Cambridge English exam preparation.